what's up with the Lando show?
What is up with the Lando show?
Well, I think nothing. I think absolutely nothing. And Justin Simeon, who was attached to that project way back when Kathy announced it during the Disney Investor Day back in 2020, December 2020. That's when we first heard of the Lando show. And I believe Kathy did attach Justin's name.
She did. I've got it right here. Should we rekindle everyone's memory on this? Mm-hmm. All right, here's Kathleen Kennedy in 2020.
And he'll return in a brand new event series for Disney+. Justin Simeon, creator of the critically acclaimed and hugely popular Dear White People, is developing the story with us now. A massive Star Wars fan himself, Justin has put together a reel to give you a sense of the style, tone, and irresistible swagger of our upcoming series, Lando. Take a look.
And of course, they didn't show that in the stream for Investor Day, but we have some inside information, Jim, about what the tone of that reel may have been. And we're hearing from our insiders that it was a funky 70s blaxploitation style vibe. And that's what Justin had in mind for this series.
It's also what Donald Glover had in mind for the series as well. So it would be playing up that whole, Lando vibe that was
disco music, roller skates.
Well, that whole thing, it's more of like what fans apply to the character of Lando Calrissian. And the first time I met Billy D. Williams, I brought it up to him.
And what was cool about Lando is you were like the intergalactic Hugh Hefner, It was that was the sort of vibe that Lando gave out.
I don't think anybody. Ladies. He didn't have a lot of ladies. He just had this one.
You knew though. He was so smooth. You knew that there was stuff going on off screen that we didn't know about. And so, I think anybody who played Lando couldn't have pulled it off the way you did.
Well, you're absolutely right about that.
There you go. There you go.
You just knew because the line between Lando Calrissian and Billy D. Williams was so thin that the crossover was inevitable. And Billy D. had a vibe about him in the 70s. And that's when these blaxploitation films were happening. And it's not like Billy was really part of that so much.
He wasn't really part of that scene.
No, I think when I think of like Richard Roundtree, guys like that,
Pam Grier is probably the most iconic,
of course. Cleopatra Jones,
but even
Shaft, and all of that.
Even the James Bond film "Live and Let Die." If you're a Bond fan, "Live and Let Die" was a Bond film. So you can imagine. All right, we want to take Star Wars and blaxploitation. We want to mix it. That's what they got with Bond. They want to take with "Live and Let Die." Let's take James Bond and the blaxploitation films that are so popular, mash them up, and you get Live and Let Die. It just seems an odd thing. I'm fascinated though by, and I remember you telling that story about Billy D. That and it's a great observation. I don't know he wasn't necessarily playing the character as if he was this legendary ladies' man. Now he was very flirtatious with Leia. But some of that might have also been part of his, he's trying to throw them off the scent of the fact that he's betrayed them. He's really throwing the red carpet out, rolling the red carpet out, and being as charming as possible. And look, Princess Leia is also a beautiful woman. So, he's not blind, but
he's a guy living in the clouds with a bald guy and a bunch of pig workers.
Right.
There probably hasn't been a woman in Cloud City, and who knows when.
Right. Good Lord. Oh my God. Well, this series, I got to tell you, I'm not necessarily interested in seeing Star Wars done as a period piece. And that to me is what blaxploitation is. I don't want them to punch up the 70s in Star Wars because George so badly strived to avoid anything that would date those films. I think he he achieved that goal to a great degree, probably better than most would have. But there was just, some of the stuff is there's just no escaping the hairstyles. And it's all, here's the thing. It's almost like, well, is Star Wars 70s, or did some of the 70s become Star Wars? How much, Star Wars pushed. So it's, yes, Star Wars is 70s, but also that film had a big impact on the culture of the 70s. And so the culture adopted it,
Right. And the thing that our insiders told us was that Justin Simeon and Donald Glover were developing it to be kind of a parody, like an undercover brother, like a film like that, Man. And it would have been maybe played up more for laughs, and it would have played up that fan thing that we came up with and applied to Lando Calrissian. And it's kind of not, it's not pretty. I mean, blaxploitation, it just plays up on stereotypes and what was that edge that fans would say about Lando? Well, pimp Lando, I mean, I never really thought I thought that was always kind of tasteless in itself. And so,
because I never saw him. I saw him as a ladies' man,
right?
I was cool with that, and I accepted that.
Absolutely,
because that was part of, like you said, that was part of Billy D's mystique. Also, he was always, even look at him in the '89 Batman as Harvey Dent. He's smooth in that role and charming and. So it's not it has nothing to do with the fact that he's a black man. It has everything to do with the fact that he oozes charm, sophistication, and all of that. Yeah, I never saw him as a pimp.
But see, that's.
But you're right. That sort of grew up. Yeah, that grew up.
That's the blaxploitation edge, and that's what makes me uncomfortable. And I'm sure that's what makes Disney uncomfortable, and probably explains why we haven't heard another peep about this Lando show, really, other than that Donald Glover is interested and he is still apparently attached to it, but scheduling is preventing him from continuing work on Lando. And he does have a lot of things going on. I mean, he's producing series, he's starring in series. Word is he's back in the studio working on new additions to his musical career. He's attached to a Marvel thing that, who knows if that'll ever take off. But I mean, there's a lot, and there's a Community film that's in the works. There's a lot of things that he's attached to right now. But Star Wars, I don't understand how these people keep taking on projects and not saying, okay, I'm ready to dive into Star Wars. It's not the actors, it's not the performers, it's all Lucasfilm.
Right.
And their lack of confidence in some projects that they've spent a lot of time and money working on. And so Simeon hasn't heard any updates since Kathleen Kennedy made that announcement.
Nothing since the announcement. That's amazing.
He hasn't heard anything, but really puzzling. So Glover says in an interview with GQ, he'd love to play Lando again. It's fun to be him. It just needs to be the right way to do it. Time is precious. I'm not interested in doing anything that's not going to be. Sorry, let me start again. I'm not interested in doing anything that's just going to be a waste of my time or just a paycheck. I'd much rather spend time with people that I enjoy. So is he saying he doesn't want to spend time working with Lucasfilm? Those aren't people he enjoys. And the Lando.
Well, maybe one way to think about that is he wants to spend time with people that he knows he's going to enjoy his time with. He doesn't know necessarily the people that could be involved in the Lando series, maybe with the exception of Justin. So he wants the sure thing, the stuff that's going to give me fulfillment. I'm not in it just for the payday. I'll give him the
Okay.
benefit of the doubt on that one, but he could
Yeah,
take it other
yeah.
ways.
Because I'd hate to, think that like Lucasfilm would maybe occasionally call up Donald Glover and say, all right, we have a direction for the Lando film. What do you think? Or Lando series. What do you think about this? And he goes, I'm not interested in doing anything that's just going to be a waste of my time or a paycheck. Yeah. It doesn't appeal to him.
Yeah.
I don't know how that works, the back and forth. But he definitely is taking on a lot of projects, and none of them have anything to do with Lando Calrissian. But as we heard in that clip from Kathy Kennedy, she made the Lando announcement and then said she was going to present a sizzle reel that Justin Simien had put together that sort of gave you an idea what the Lando show was going to be all about. They didn't share that with the public viewing audience, only the Disney investors who had access to the live feed. But here at Rebel Force Radio, we have 2 clips from that sizzle reel. Yes. This may or may not have been part of the Lando pilot. And we have 2 clips. Clip 1, it definitely gives you an indication that this would be a very different take on Lando.
Before I made a living playing cards and doing other stuff that's not really explained, I wanted to be a singer. There's a little song I wrote about space, and it's called Making Love in Space. 2, 3, 4, making love in space. Yeah, making love in space. You need a man though, girl, come see Lando. Girl, making love in space. I love.
All right, see now, okay, I could get behind the Vegas vibe, the Vegas Lounge Lizard vibe more than I could the Blaxploitation vibe. I want him to be a rat packer.
I think
like
that's
our own
the
puppet
vibe.
Lando. I mean,
that's the vibe Glover and Simien were going for in this presentation. I don't know how the Disney investors responded to this. I don't know if they were as favorable as you are being, Jason, but
I'm digging it, man.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I mean, we have a little more.
Dig it, man.
We have a little more that kind of paints a picture about what this show would have been all about.
I love alien girls because it's always a surprise when the clothes come off. So it's like, oh, you're that? We'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out.
Well, there's Donald Glover.
I do want to say, and I hope I'm not speaking out of turn because I'm not his agent, I'm not his manager, but if Disney is looking to go a different direction than what Justin has presented, I know a certain scoundrel, card player, pirate, whose heart is just made of felt, and he would be perfect to star in your Lando Disney Plus series. I'm talking about the one, the only puppet Lando. I think he is a natural.
Right. And he has absolutely zero scheduling conflict.
Right. He's taking meetings. So, they say, yeah, they're taking meetings now. Yeah, he's taking meetings.
He is. But, he has been spending a lot of time in the recording studio. And as you heard last week on RFR, we debuted his latest tune from Puppet Lando and the RFR Orchestra. This deal keeps getting worse all the time. And it's on last week's show, and now it's available for you to download. So go to rebelforceradio.com and you'll see the article there that gives you links not only to where you can download This Deal Keeps Getting Worse All the Time. You can have the MP3 forever to cherish and play at family functions, weddings, bar mitzvahs. You could also have his other hits, Hello, What Do We Have Here? And I Want My Felt to Be Felt. So those are the hits from
We're
Puppet Lando.
Closer to that EP with every release.
We want a vinyl release from Puppet Lando. So we'll see how it goes. We need a couple more songs before we can make it a reality. And then we'll start discussing it with you guys in the RFR community about the best way to get this thing done.
It's going to be hard just Figuring out, Jim,
What's that?
what's going to go on the A side versus the B side, because to me, they're all A side tracks. They're all on the A side.
Oh, the flip side. I didn't even think of that. Maybe we'll just have one A side, and the flip side will be felt.
Yeah, that's right. It's perfect. Yeah,
We're gonna have to keep workshopping this. But yeah, Puppet Lando. So go to rebelforceradio.com and you'll see the link for how you can score those tracks. And so yeah, I wouldn't be holding my breath waiting for this Lando Calrissian show. I don't see it happening. So that's just me.
That could also come under the Bob Iger chopping block as he's looking to cut back.
She's like, Glover wants how much per episode? Lando's not that popular anyway, is he? What about Baby Yoda? Baby Yoda, we don't have to pay him anything.
Yeah, but you know Iger wants to give Baby Yoda a spinoff. Star Wars babies.
Oh, yeah.
You know, the all Star Wars versions, but they're the baby incarnations.
Right. Talk about too much too fast. Yikes. All right.